Okay, this is a four-voice class, and we're going to begin some warm-up at 200 words per minute. We have Ms. Steinfeld for the plaintiff and Mr. Webb for defense. I am plaintiff attorney, Ms. Steinfeld.
I am the witness.
I am the court.
I'm attorney for defense, Mr. Webb.
And we're going to do this in 15.
Okay, and it's the court for the record. This is the matter of Anthony Andrew Galland, case number VA001100. Is that your true and correct name?
Yes, sir.
You may proceed.
Thank you. People will call Mr. Kingsley.
Face me. Raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give in the cause now pending before this court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Will you state your name and spell your last name for the court?
Richard Jacob Kingsley, K-I-N-G-S-L-E-Y.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Kingsley.
Morning.
Sir, directing your attention to June and July, the end of June, beginning of July 1989, did you reside at 13100 Melanie Lane
I did.
in the city of Westminster?
Yes, I did.
And at approximately, or on June 30th to July 1st, sometime during the night, approximately 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., were you at that residence?
Yes, I was.
Where were you?
I was in my locked bedroom,
And what time did you wake up the morning of July 1st?
approximately 7 o'clock.
And where did you go after you woke up?
Well, I went to the restroom first. Then I unlocked my door going into the kitchen to start my coffee. Then I glanced into my living room. One of my ivories was gone.
You said one of your ivories was gone. What was the first thing that you noticed that was unusual?
The ivory was gone.
Where was it located?
I've got some great big stereo speakers. They're about 4 feet long and 4 feet high, and I had the ivory ship sitting on one of those speakers.
And when you say the ivory ship, what are you referring to?
It is the summer sailor of the Emperor and Empress of China, and they use that to go to their summer palace in the summertime. And the ivory carving goes approximately 4 foot long and 4 foot high, and approximately 22 to 28 designs on it. The head of the ship has a big dragon head.
You have a picture?
Not of this ship, Your Honor. There may be a photocopy. We have a photocopy that could be shown to whatever later witnesses would be having needed detailed picture of the ship.
What's the value of the ship?
I believe the Orange County Police Department had the Chapel of the Bells, which is less money than the ship. Chapel of the Bells, I paid approximately $150,000 for it approximately 20 years ago. And the ship I bought almost the same time. And the ship I paid $200,000.
You paid $200,000 for it 20 years ago?
It's a minimum of 20 years ago.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I am holding one Polaroid photograph. I'll mark it People's One on the back and ballpoint pen. And also this is a Xerox piece of paper. It is the back of an Orange County booking slip that has 3 Xerox photographs. This will be People's Two for identification.
Yes.
Can I see that, ma'am?
Yes, sir, of course, Mr. Kingsley. Do they look like the ship, the statue that you just described to us?
Yes, the ship is at the very top right-hand corner. That's the one that's roughly 4 foot by 3.5 feet high.
4 foot by 3.5 feet high?
Yes, correct.
Okay, now showing you what has been marked as People's One, this Polaroid photograph. Do you recognize what is in the center of that photograph?
Oh, that's my Chapel of the Bells. It's lying on the side. Well, it is kind of hidden.
Is that the Chapel of the Bells?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And this looks like the carving that was carved in 1492, valued at $1.2 million, and probably today.
I assume you're referring to another picture?
Yes, sir. That was on the lower left-hand side. This gentleman here, I think, knows more about them.
I move to strike that, Your Honor, and ask the witness to keep the remarks to himself.
Just respond to the questions asked.
Now, Mr. Kingsley, you noticed that the Chapel of the Bells statue was also missing?
Yes, ma'am.
Where had that been located?
That was in the front room also.
Was that exposed or was it contained in any way?
No, it was in a cabinet that stood about 6 feet high. All of the tip-top part was all glass. All 3 kinds of corners of it was all glass.
Was that cabinet missing?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have an approximate value of the cabinet?
Oh, I'd say between $400 and $600.
Okay.
That be in China, of course.
Thank you. There will be no further questions at this point.
Mr. Kingsley, have you ever met Mr. Anthony Galland, the man seated to my left in your life, sir?
No, sir.
Was there an attempted burglary on June 16th, 1989?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And did you have another piece of ivory stolen from your residence on September 18th, 1989?
I don't know. When? In September?
In September, I believe, 19th, 1988. Did you also have another break-in?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did, sir.
And you have been a victim of burglary, of grand theft, and approximately 11 times?
That's correct.
I have no further questions.
Redirect.
Your Honor, nothing further, Your Honor.
You are excused.
Your Honor, the people would call Brenda Alexander.
Remain standing. Please face me. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in the cause now pending before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated. Will you state your name and spell your last name for the court, please?
My name is Brenda Alexander, Alexander.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Alexander, what is your current occupation?
My occupation is a parole agent.
Do you recognize the gentleman seated at the far left of the council table?
That's Anthony Galland.
And how do you recognize him?
I was his parole agent.
Are you subsequently his parole agent?
Yes, I am.
Has Mr. Galland spent some time in state prison?
Yes, he has.
And was he released from state prison sometime during the early month of March 1989?
Yes, he was released on 3/11/89.
Okay, and do you know why he was in state prison?
Yes, he was in state prison for a petty theft with a prior.
And he's been on parole to you ever since the 11th of March?
Yes.
Stop there. Okay, this will be some four-voice practice. This will be at 210 words per minute. We have Mr. Evans for the plaintiff and Ms. Keller for defense. I am plaintiff attorney, Mr. Evans.
I'm the witness.
I have the court.
I'm attorney for defense, Ms. Keller.
We're doing this in 14s.
And it's the court for the record. People versus Philip Naomi.
Your Honor, I'm Bill Evans on behalf of the people. We're ready to proceed in this matter.
Your Honor, on behalf of the defendant, we're present and also ready to proceed.
Record should show the defendant being present and in custody.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Evans, you can call your first witness.
Yes, Your Honor, I should. For the record, in case Ms. Keller has any questions, the first witness is going to be Darlene Garner.
That will be fine.
Darlene, would you step forward, please? Stand by me and face the clerk.
Would you raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your full name and spell your last.
Darlene Garner, Garner.
Thank you. You may have a seat, please.
Make yourself as comfortable as possible. Move your chair up just a bit to make sure your words are getting in the microphone. Thank you. Darlene, at the table I'm seated at right now, and to the far end of my left, your right, is a gentleman in an orange jumpsuit. By what name do you know that person?
Philip Naomi.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that she's identified the defendant? May it also reflect that this is Miss Garner, not Darlene?
Yes, put it in the record, and this is Miss Garner, not Darlene.
Well, I'm sorry, Miss Garner. Directing you back to the day of April 14th, 1988, did you reside at 10611 Lakeside South, Unit 6 in the city of Garden Grove, County of Orange?
Yes, I did.
And once again, with regard to that reference and the date of April 14th, 1988, sometime between 12 and 1 in the morning, did you enter your residence?
Yes, I did.
Upon entering your residence, did you find anyone inside the residence?
Philip was inside the residence.
Where was he in the residence when you first became aware of his presence?
He was laying on the couch. I didn't see him right away.
When you first became aware of his presence in the residence, did one of the two of you speak? Who spoke first?
He spoke first. That's how I found out he was there.
At some point in time, that morning, did you accompany the defendant from that residence to another residence at 2148 South Sycamore Street, City of Santa Ana, County of Orange?
Yes.
And whose residence is the one at 2148?
That's Philip's residence.
How did you get from your residence to the residence on South Sycamore in Santa Ana?
He held me at gunpoint and told me to go.
Okay. Did you walk or drive?
Drove.
Okay. Why did you accompany him in a drive from your residence to his residence in Santa Ana?
Because I thought he was going to shoot me if I didn't.
And what made you believe that?
Because he was holding a gun.
And did you accompany him because he uttered some words to you while holding the gun on you?
I don't remember exactly what what he said, but he had mentioned before we left he would shoot me if I didn't do what he wanted.
Now, who drove from your residence to Santa Ana?
He drove.
And did you get in the car because you felt threatened?
Yes, I did.
Approximately what time of day would you say you got to his residence if we use, well, let me back up. I gave you the reference of between 12 at midnight and 1 in the morning at your residence. Do you recall approximately when you got to your residence?
I got to my residence about 1.
And if you can recall, or the time period approximately, what time do you think you got to his residence?
Probably about 2.
Now, while at his residence, did an act of sexual intercourse occur between the two of you?
Yes,
Why did you submit to an act of intercourse with the defendant on that evening?
because I thought I would get shot if I didn't. He had the gun.
Had he pointed the gun towards your person when you were at his residence?
Yes, he had.
Had he spoken verbally to you that caused you to have some fear?
Yes.
What did he say?
He told me that this gun was much more powerful than the one he used when he shot his ex-wife, and I wouldn't have a chance. I wouldn't live through it.
Prior to the act of sexual intercourse, did he display the bullets in the gun to you?
Prior, I can't remember if he displayed prior or after. I think it was after.
Now, did he display the gun in your direction and make verbal comments to you that you took to be threats on one or more than one occasion prior to the act of sexual intercourse?
On more than one occasion.
When you arrived at his residence, did he do anything with securing the door prior to the act of sexual intercourse?
He locked the door.
Was there more than one exit?
Just one exit.
I have no further questions of the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Keller?
Would you prefer to be Mrs., Ms., or Miss Garner?
It doesn't matter.
Well, I wish you would give me one of the three.
Miss Garner is fine.
Okay. Miss Garner, you say that when you came home that night, you say Mr. Naomi was lying on the couch in your apartment.
Yes, he was.
Now, did he have a key to your apartment?
Yes, he did.
And was that as a result of you having a prior relationship with him?
Yes.
How long have you known Mr. Naomi altogether?
Since 1983.
And had you ever been romantically involved with him?
Yes, I was.
When was that? When did that begin?
1983.
At the time that this incident occurred, in the months that preceded it, had you and him been dating?
Yes.
And were there times when you spent the night together?
Only if we went someplace. I never spent the night at his house.
Okay. What I'm asking is, were there times when you went away for the weekend with him?
Yes.
Sometimes when you went to San Diego, sometimes when you went to Las Vegas?
Yes.
When you'd do that, you'd share a hotel room?
Yes.
And you also had a sexual relationship with him?
Yes.
And the time when this particular incident occurred, were you dating both? Excuse me, Your Honor, could I get some Kleenex?
Could we please have some Kleenex? Want to take a minute? Short recess.
This will be more warm-up, about 2 minutes at 210 words per minute. We have Mr. Ames for the plaintiff and Mr. Crum for defense. I am plaintiff attorney Mr. Ames.
I am the witness.
I am the court.
I'm attorney for defense, Ms. Keller. I'm sorry. Mr. Crum.
All right, we're doing this in 14s.
Okay, and it's the court for the record. You may continue with your direct examination, Mr. Ames.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Day, will you please point out the defendant? Can you tell us what he's wearing?
He's sitting right there. He's wearing a gray coat, tie, and a light blue shirt.
The record will reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
Are you sure this is the man you came into contact with the night of the incident, which you've already described?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, thank you. Where did you go after you left the River Road area where you and Ken had been parked?
I believe I went straight home.
When you got to your house, were you concerned about anything?
Yes, sir, I was.
Why were you concerned?
The whole thing just didn't sit well. I was upset, so I called my best friend,
Who is your best friend?
Sarah Deary.
And you asked Sarah to come over, is that right?
Yes, sir, I did.
After Sarah came over, did anybody else come to your house?
Yes, sir.
Who was it that came over?
Ken showed up.
About how much longer after the last time you had seen him in the River Road area did he actually show up at your house?
I believe it must have been about 20 minutes or so.
How did you become aware he was at your house?
He knocked on my window.
Then what did he do, if anything?
Well, he was outside. You know, I told him to go around to the front door and come in.
So Ken came into the house then, is that right?
Yes, sir, he did.
Tell us what he did or said when he first came into your house at that time.
He was very nervous, tense.
Did he tell you what had happened to him after you had left the River Road area?
Yes, sir, he did.
Tell us how he was dressed at that point.
He was kind of a mess. He didn't have any shoes on, you know. He was wearing his pants and stuff, but his shirt was hanging out and everything.
He didn't have his shoes on?
No, sir, he didn't.
Did you talk with him about whether or not you should report this incident to the police?
We talked about it a little, but not at any great length.
Okay.